Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. The last episode, we don't need to talk about the last episode. You always want to talk about the past. What is up with it? It looks like me on a Sunday morning. E6MJ 7Q0E. Terrible rate of fire, but you know, you gotta pay the price for being able to fly. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Last run, mistakes were made. Might have been playing the run in a little bit of an expedited fashion. We found ourselves in a delicate position with Curse of the Tower. It's like a once every 3 months sort of thing to accidentally go down the wrong path. But it does happen. All we can do is move past it as individuals and as a community whenever a traumatic event like that happens. Black Rune is beautiful. I want... Excuse me, sir. I was speaking. I want some stats. So if you could just shoot a bomb like right, I want you to take that right here. We're just gonna come up this way. You're gonna put a bomb. You're gonna put a bomb right here. Okay, as a start, you're gonna put a bomb right here. You're gonna take your bomb and you're gonna shoot it. You're so close, sir. You're gonna shoot it right here. You're gonna take your, oh, and he's done it. You fool. It was a ruse the entire time. You thought I was giving you the keys to the kingdom. In actuality, I was giving you the keys to your doom. Whatever that's supposed to mean. So I'm really, really hoping... It's weird. Number one priority would be a good item. If we can't get a good item, give me a trash item. And let me turn it into a tiers upgrade. I'll take it because it's new. I just hate all the words that were on the screen temporarily there, but I still don't even understand what this item does. I believe when you get hit, the longer you've gone without getting hit, it gives you better things, but I don't remember what it gives you. But certainly not the kind of item where you're like, oh, we gotta get rid of this immediately. Almost certainly a secret room. I'm willing to take a chance on that, because I would like to get a blood bank on the next floor. If money is in here, that'll facilitate that. Oh, and is money in here? Is it ever? One of these days, I swear to God, it's gonna open up and we're gonna get some freak... Okay, finally. Now, 15 cents. We'll actually go to the shop on this floor. We'll definitely go to the shop on this floor. I'm not gonna use our last bomb. We might need that to get a tinted rock or something along those lines. But let's start here. We really are, especially because the first tier's upgrade is like, for whatever reason, it gives you 18 times the value of any other tier's upgrade. If we get a tiers upgrade here, we're going to be in love. Okay, I'm going to go back on my original strategy, because both of those items are extremely great. And I'm going to place a bomb here and really hope it's a nickel. Let's go. We're getting both. That's the long and the short of it. So we're going to grab Tarot Cloth first, see what card we get. Hermit is not worth giving up a black rune for, obviously. But then, like, the black candle is also amazing in and of itself, so... We're gonna hop in here. Ragman is just a heinous boss to fight. But I'm really glad we chose to go to the secret room first, because if we hadn't, we would have used our bombs to kill Ragman. We would have gone into the secret room. It would have been like a Gwyneth Paltrow sliding door situation. We wouldn't have gone into the secret room, or when we went into the secret room, we would be like, oh, well, we can't blow these guys up. Then we wouldn't have gone into the shop, we wouldn't have seen what we were missing, and we wouldn't have Tarot Cloth on the very first floor of the game. So it is going to be a long fight here. I would very much prefer to be fighting any other boss. Almost. I really thought we were gonna... You know what? Just walk into me. Go ahead. Go ahead and hit me. I don't want you to hit me yet. I want you to spawn ahead, then I'm gonna walk into it and we'll do double damage, I think. Whoop! You almost got me there. We'll do it this way. Because I want the Demon Heart to crush you. I don't want belly button. Get that belly button out of here. We got shot speed and luck. I've decided I would like to go back and get the belly button, please. No, it's real simple. I just want to go back and get the belly button. It's not like you purge that item from existence. Just I'll just take the belly button. I don't want the shot speed. It's okay. I was incorrect. I was short-sighted. I've decided after the free trial period, I would like to have the belly button instead of the shot speed. Is that... You know, you know how much time I spend here? I'm a paying customer. I'm just being indignant at this point. I always thought that was a weird argument, okay? I've seen people in real life use it, and it frustrates me. They say, do you know how much money I spend here? Because it's always like a couple of things on the go. First off, it's a deliberate intimidation technique. I don't respect that. Secondarily, it's usually not that much money. People, when they say that, are almost always at like a Starbucks or something like that. They're like, you know how much money I spend here? I'm like, dude. It can't possibly, I don't know, do you own a franchise? It can't be that much. You don't get special treatment just because you go to the Starbucks every day. It's like, try pulling that at a gas station. You know how much money I spend here? It's not going to get you cheaper gas. Moreover, the more time that I spend in an establishment, the lower quality of service I demand. And I'm being sincere. Now, like, we have a couple of restaurants we like to go to, right? I'm going to level with you. Level of service, not always 10 out of 10. But when we're there, we're like, we're not going to complain about the service because the food is dynamite. And we're in here all the time. So I don't want them to identify us the next time we come in as the jerk couple that complained about something, even if it was within our rights to complain. And I just consider that part of maintaining a good balance between, you know, the server and the servee. And the servo. And the cats in the cradle and the the silver spoon. Now you could just meander your way into that fire there. That's a dream come true. Magic Mush is incredible. Brimstone's even better. We're off to the freaking races, man. We got no complaints now. A little slow. Okay, we have one complaint. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is just incredible, but I'm going to go to the we might get Shoop-de-Whoop. I'm going to go to the Shoop-de-Whoop is not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is go to the shop, try to buy a tarot card, because with you know, tarot card effect being doubled, you know, I've decided it's not actually that valuable. If we had 2 bombs, we might be able to make like a black market sort of thing work here, but let's see. We actually do have one more complaint, and it's minor because our damage is so good, but we're like really, really taking a long time to charge up our Brimstone laser. That's okay. Yeah, let's check it. Absolutely worth it. Extremely stupid on my part. So we need 2 things. We need rate of fire and damage. That's basically it. But we have the keys to the kingdom apart from that. Especially if an enemy is like in a straight line, nothing will stop us from destroying them. They will be killed. Their ashes will scatter to the earth. They will be no more. Wouldn't mind picking up a little guppy action though, but we'll see. I always think like people consider it like you have low confidence sometimes, and I know, well, maybe it's just Twitch chat, but you know, we'll talk about that in streams sometimes. Like there was one time fairly recently, we went to an establishment, and they seated us, gave us our menus. Then after like 5 minutes, nobody had come by and said like, you know, hey, can I get you a glass of water or something like that. So when a server walked by, I kind of waved them over and was like, can we order? And they were like, yeah, just give us a minute. And we waited like another 5 minutes and nobody came over, so we just left. And some people were like, that's like, I would have given them an earful. But why? You know, I just don't see, like, I don't care. I'd rather the business just fails. At that point. It's not fair to the owner, perhaps, unless the owner was the person doing the serving. But like, you don't owe them the anger. You know, just let him slowly wither on the vine, I think, is my strategy, more so. You think it's low self-confidence, it's actually just being very, very vindictive instead. That's the way I see it, at least. Like, I don't think I've ever been angry at somebody in a service establishment. At least I've never been angry at, like, the server or the chef. I don't think it's ever happened. I'm just being sincere. And I've been to a few. I don't know if that's my demeanor or what's going on that's leading to that. Dude, we're out of here. This is going crazy good now. But I think it's kind of like a two-way street. Here's the way I think of it. You are a paying customer, but just because you're buying food from an establishment doesn't, everybody knows this, I'm sure, but doesn't entitle you to be a jerk. Doesn't entitle you to special treatment beyond, you know, having this stuff served to you, and you can always be like, excuse me, can I get another glass of water? And then they should bring it to you. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I would like you to not explode here, please. I'll take things your mother has never said for 500. That's rude, I'm sorry. Actually, we will do this. It's been so long since we've been hit, I guess we got like a top tier roll there. Unless we accidentally blow him up, but let's hope that doesn't happen. And yeah, I think it's a two-way street, because yeah, servers sometimes might be bad at serving you, and that's okay. But I imagine customers are oftentimes jerks as well. The only thing is, it's not a two-way street. It's a lot harder for a server to be like, hey, get out of my restaurant, than it is for a customer to be like, you're not doing your job right now. I think, at least. So I try to be very lenient about it, because at the end of the day, I'm usually just happy to be getting a meal. You know, I'm like, this is fantastic. Even when I'm at Chili's, I'm like, this sucks. I love it. The only Chili's I've ever eaten at, I'm not trying to dunk on Chili's. The only Chili's I've ever eaten at was at an airport in Oakland. It's not a fair way to assess a restaurant franchise, but it is the only way I've ever experienced it, so you gotta speak from what you know. And it was one of those situations. The only other time I've had this happen was when I was in New York City, like 10 years ago. Oh, didn't even see you there. I went to a restaurant in Times Square, and they printed the amount of calories that were in each dish on the menu. Very responsible thing to do. After reading it, I was like, I don't want to eat anything. All the stuff I want to eat is terrible for me. I think I preferred, like, the ignorance is bliss. Like, I'm in Times Square. I'm not, obviously not a New York local. Let's go down to Times Square so I can make a responsible choice for dinner. I was on vacation. I wanted the ignorant, I'll get the buffalo chicken burger with double french fries, please. And then in my head, I'm like, probably like 500 calories. Lie to myself. On the menu, it was like 1,900 calories. I'm like, I'll take the kale salad with no dressing, please. Come, 400 calories, how'd you do that? Anyway, this is a long time ago, but the Chili's did that. And I remember what I ordered was like 1,100 calories. And it was on the reasonable side of the menu. And I just said, like, well, this better be worth not eating again for 10 hours. And I'm just being honest with you, it wasn't even close. Like, if you're gonna make something that bad for you, can you also just make it proportionally delicious? That's all I ask. I don't ask for it to be the nectar of the gods. I just want it to be like twice as delicious as a sandwich, if it's got twice the calories that a normal sandwich has. Now, obviously, not everything can, like, live on that spectrum. I don't think $1 billion food necessarily would taste 1 billion times better than, like, a Milky Way chocolate bar for electrical inference, but, you know, from the certain standpoint that I was coming from, I was just disappointed is what it comes from. Did I say $1 billion food? I meant 1 billion calorie food. Anyway, you get the idea. There must be foods that are inedible, but have a caloric level, right? I know, because calories are just energy. Is it specifically energy from a metabolic standpoint, or is it just a measure of energy to begin with? For example, let me ask you a question here. This would obviously kill you. Please do not try this at home. If you drank, like, a milliliter, well, maybe a milliliter wouldn't kill you, but anyway, don't try it at home nonetheless, because I don't know what I'm talking about. If you drank a milliliter of motor oil, presumably it would give you enough calories to last you for the rest of your life, if you know what I mean. But does it also have, like, a caloric level? Like, if you survived, would your personal trainer be like, bro, you gotta cut down on the motor oil. It's extremely calorically dense. Like, if I ate something digestible, but also poisonous, you know? Like, if you ate a poisonous plant, surely, you know, if you live for like 24 hours and your stomach and intestines start digesting it, there must be a caloric count to it, right? This isn't, like, there's no lesson to be learned off of this anecdote whatsoever, except that I am an idiot. But it's just something I've never thought about before. I guess poison, you know, many poisons would indeed have calories. Like, if you eat your fingernails, they must have calories in them. That's just, what if you eat, like, glass? I would assume that glass wouldn't. Or would it? I have no idea. I don't want to be the guy who Googles, does glass have calories? Because what happens after that You know, it ends up populating Google auto searches around the globe, and then I see it on Twitter 4 days from now. Someone goes, "What idiot searched for this?" And I have to reply and be like, "You don't understand, it was an academic question. It wasn't because I was planning on eating glass. I just wanted to know if it had calories in it." There's never been a situation in my life where eating glass has looked like an option that makes any sense. DoorDash exists. You could just go to the grocery store. Glass is expensive. It's really like the perfect intersection of imperfect conditions. You would never want to do it. Please just let me go to the shop. Anyway, that's my food for thought. I imagine it's one of those, it doesn't get a whole lot of research funding. People are like, well, what would happen? How many calories are in a kilogram of plutonium? People are like, you're dead as soon as you come within a foot of it, so don't worry about it too much. That's where they're at right now. And that's the metaphor for what Chili's was like. It was like eating a kilogram of toxic plutonium. Try it on for size. Well, I will be leaving now and heading down to the next floor. I do think it's good that restaurants print nutritional information. I really do. It's responsible. You know, this is like the Super Size Me thing. Back in 2004, no restaurants had nutritional information available. When they started printing it, it was kind of like, you could always usually find the information. It was just tucked away, and you got to click on the site map, figure out where it is. You got to do research on what you're going to order from Wendy's. It kind of like, you know, betrays the logic of getting fast food in the first place. But you could figure it out for yourself, and then you just find something good and you never order anything else ever again. But, you know, I'm like, oh, let's try this. I am one of those people, even though I know that it's not real, and it obviously doesn't make any thermodynamic sense. I'm like, when I'm on vacation, calories don't count. It's a very, you don't have to tell me it's stupid. It's literally stupid. It's literally wrong. It's even worse than being stupid in this case. I think we should just keep re-rolling here. High Priest, get something's wrong out of here. Blank card we absolutely need. So we got Empress High Priestess, I love it. Re-rolls, please. So it took a little while for me to get used to the idea of having nutritional facts printed on the menu, because it is jarring. You know, you're like, oh my god, I've eaten that sandwich. Subway was the worst, man. Because, you know, when it came up as a popular brand. Like, it really rose in prominence between when I was like 9 and 14. So I grew up with those Jared commercials, where he's like, I used to be fat and now I'm skinny. And it's all because I eat a foot of bread a day. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. Although when I was 9 and 14, I didn't care. But anyway, I was eating the foot-long cold cut combo for like 5 years. I'm like, well, it worked for Jared. How couldn't it work for me? I never read the fine print that Jared had a 6-inch vegetarian sandwich for lunch. And then a foot-long vegetarian sandwich for dinner. And then 3 times a week he had a turkey sandwich. Seems like that should not be in the fine print. That should be in the super print. So I'm eating this sandwich. It's a foot long. I'm 10 years old. Look it up as a teenager. It's like an 1,100 calorie sandwich or something. I was having it for lunch. I was going home and eating at dinner. Sometimes a post-dinner snack of some sort. It's too much, man. Are we on? Yeah, we're on depths too. Okay. I bought in. I bought into the marketing. I feel like that was one of the companies that impacted the most. When Subway was like, yeah, this one dude got skinny, but it was under a unique set of parameters. And really, in the end, you're eating a full foot of bread and yoga mattress material. We started to go, wait a minute. Okay, this time, you're going to take the Polaroid. But it's better this way. I just ask that it's delicious. That's all I ask. I don't think any of that is really worth it. If we had teleporters, we'd reconsider, but... Because the thing is, I'm not a particularly healthy person. You know, I'm probably It depends where you live, I guess, but I'm probably of like average health and fitness is my level. I might be a little bit above average because of the fact that I'm currently on like an exercise binge, but I've only been on it for 2 months, and that's not really like a particularly long time. You know, it's just basically like baby level getting started. So who knows how long it'll last. Maybe this time next year I'll be in the Tour de France. That's a little unreasonably optimistic. I don't really want to be a professional bike racer. It seems like, you know, I like riding the bike. I don't love it. I like it. And then beyond that, I can't imagine living your whole life in constant competition like that for prize money. That's got to be stressful. I mean, that's why people cheat at it, right? They're not just cheating because they want to go down in the history books as like the best athlete. There's like a huge financial incentive if you can do it and get away with it without being caught. So no wonder that pressure exists. You know, you're constantly like, I gotta go out and have a good bike race today, or I'm gonna, you know, fall down 40% of my income year after year. That's a lot of pressure. It's like being an esports athlete. What happens if you win the international? It's great news, right? Your team won the international. You're taking home like $1 million in Dota bucks just for being good at a video game. But then the next year, what happens if you come 14th? I bet it becomes hard to keep that, you know. When you win it, you're like, thank God we won it once. You go back the next year, you're probably not expecting a guaranteed dub. But I'm sure you're like, in the back of your head, you're like, I better get at least like 50 grand. And you come in 14th all because one of your teammates accidentally picked Bloodseeker when they should have picked Razor, and, you know, all of a sudden you're living a little bit more spendthrift the next year. You win it all on a roll of a dice, you can lose a lot of it on a roll of a dice. Hey, stop hitting that into me, please. That's why I'm happy with the space that I occupy in the industry. I imagine it's kind of similar, but I just don't notice it because I'm so effortlessly entertaining. You know, for other people they have to try hard, but for me it's just like, just turn on the stream and let it flow. And if you see the difference between me and most streamers, I'm not gonna do the Let It Go song there, even though that would be a reference that a lot of people would get. And the reason I'm not gonna do it is because I guess I don't want to make the big bucks. Not at that cost, anyway. That's like blood doping for streaming, to make a reference to Disney. I'll take it. Real streamers only make references to Marvel. Alright, we're free. Dude, this run is popping. If you'll forgive me, I do not want to fight Hush. We have a 75% chance of a deal with the devil. Did we not see one on this floor already? Everything's been moving so fast. I think we'll take both. We may fight Hush just because there's the blank card Algiz gives us such a good chance regardless. Why not? Marked is actually pretty okay, I think. Yeah. As long as you got a charge shot item, it's great. Evil Eye probably does nothing. Oh, with my naked eye, I saw the falling rain coming down on me. Man, the only place I hear that song is grocery stores, and I'm not even just referring to my other bit. Like, it's the only place I hear that song in today's day and age. So what the whole, if you don't know what that song is, that makes like 100 of us, I'm sure. But anyway, what I was gonna say was I'm not like necessarily a bastion of health, but I try to treat myself better, because sometimes you get questions, but everyone thinks they have the answers with respect to health, but when you're young, a lot of the answer is just like, why do you even care about that stuff? Well, it's because it's easier for it to slip away as you get older. You know, I got friends that got busted knees, bad backs. The busted knees is me, really. Bad backs, you know, they used to be skinny, now they got a little belly. It's just what happens when you get older. You gotta take care of yourself a little bit. You can be the guy, when you're in your teens or your 20s and you're the guy who's like, I eat whatever. Nothing wrong with it at all. Roll it as long as you can get away with it. Just be aware of the fact that you can be skinny and still, you know, have your heart explode and have a pulmonary infarction or whatever. But as long as that's all on the up and up and your triglycerides look fine, who cares? And you feel good. As you get older, it's less and less cool, because most of those guys kind of start to find themselves not really feeling that great. You know, quality of life dips a little bit. And you know, even like the little swings that I go through, I find myself experiencing that, you know? I'm always like plus or minus 15 pounds of some kind of default weight, but when I get into that like plus category, I start to, you know, going up the stairs, a long flight of stairs is a little bit harder. Find yourself getting winded in situations that were previously, you know, a breeze. You find yourself, you know, your pants don't fit properly. You're showing your butt crack off when you sit down at the wrong angle. You're constantly, you know, pulling down to the sides of your sweatshirt to make sure that it's covering everything up in your dorsal region. It's not vanity. It's just like, you know, it's not lame to care about your health. Which is why when I go to Chili's, I make sure I only get a 1,100 calorie entree instead of a 1,700 calorie entree. But only at the Oakland airport. Also, like, you get some really bad advice on the internet about health. I was talking on the NLSS about this protein powder I've been drinking, and it's not very good. And I realize it's not very good because it's organic and vegetarian and lactose free. I'm sorry to break it to you like that. I've had other protein, whey protein before in my life. This is not whey protein, it's pea protein and like asparagus protein. It's horrendous. I didn't notice until I've been drinking it for a while that it wasn't what I thought I was buying because of the store where I bought it. But anyway, I'll tough it out, that's fine. People say like, well, if you want to get shredded, just eat. That's not good advice. I don't want to get shredded for one. But beyond that, you got to be more specific than that. Just eating is what gets you into the situation. You get a little bit of, you know, you got the butt crack showing off. Because when you're fit and you sit down, it's perfect. It's like an L joint or a hinge or something like that. And you get a little bit of a belly, it's like trying to bend a phone book in half. Like things don't work right and stuff starts bulging out of the sides. Anyway, let's move on here. And people were like, what I do is I just work out and drink a glass of milk. And I'm like, I don't think that that's scientific. I think that's what Charles Atlas did in the 1950s before they even knew that DNA existed and they thought that diseases were caused by sinning. So we did pop alges, by the way. We need another replacement card. You ever look back on the... Charles Atlas was like a bodybuilder from the mid-20th century. He was the fittest man in the world at the time that he existed. You go look at him now. I don't want to say nothing special because the dude was in shape. But it's like if you look at him now compared to, I don't want to say bodybuilders because like I don't want to be insulting to anybody else's hobby. But I don't find... Bodybuilding as a sport has left behind what I consider to be like human anatomy aesthetics. You know, the bodybuilders, they tend to, I mean, they're extremely muscular. There's no question about that. And they have a low body fat as well. If that's what you aspire to, then that's great. They also have huge human growth hormone-derived stomachs. It's more like it's a competition to the extreme, basically, is what it comes down to. And that's fine, because it takes an unbelievable amount of dedication. I can't even imagine. Either way, though. Charles Atlas, we look at him now. If you saw him with his shirt off walking down the beach wherever you live, you'd be like, that's a fit guy. But you wouldn't be like, that guy owns the Bowflex Corporation. It was always that Charles Atlas, and I know this secondhand because I wasn't alive in 1951. But as I understand it, in like the back of comic books, his company would advertise, and they'd be like, it would always be like, hey, nerd. This situation look familiar? And it's always like some skinny guy with glasses at the beach, and he's hanging out with his gal pal. They just got back from the malt shop. And then at the beach, some big semi-muscular guy comes up, kicks sand in his face, and then the girl goes, I want to be with the douchebag. And then she gets with the douchebag, and it's because he kicks sand in your face because you're a little pipsqueak. So if you buy muscle milk and weird trapezoidal weights and start working out, you're going to be good to go. Those ads are so weird to me because when I tell the story, it sounds like that's good-natured 1950s innocence. If you filter it through a modern lens, I think it's like the most sexist ad I could ever imagine in my entire life. First off, I don't live in the 1950s, but I've never had sand kicked in my face at the beach, regardless of my physique. But maybe it happens. Secondarily, what is this lady doing? Yeah, I'll go out with Sheldon. He seems like a nice guy. A little skinny, though. We go to the beach, he gets sand kicked in his face. Well, it's the prehistoric era, so I guess I have to get with the strongest male at the tribe of the beach. I don't want to be with a guy who's kicking sand in people's face. He might kick sand in my face. I'm not as big as he is either. It just seems like a bad idea. You should be taking Sheldon to the hospital. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.